Hey, look, this right here for my Hebrews. Don't fold. You get tried in that fire, you real gold. A real diamond, an arbor, like let me test it. If you make it through that, then you get your blessing. It won't prosper, but you gon' see that weapon. Plead the blood of a marsh, y'all get protection. And y'all come up out the word, you need an exit. The day of the Lord coming so unexpected. I pray to Abba, I pray we make it through the tribulation. Psalm 91, keep him your habitation. Keeping these commandments that we have in patience. All this stuff going on, it'll have you racing. Faith in Messiah is.
How we doing everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where and what time y'all watching this video. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, being the name of the Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world knows as Jesus Christ, right? And hope everybody's staying diligent in this walk and getting to know how to serve God and how to be a righteous woman and how to be a righteous man, right? And breaking forth out of the doctrines of this world, right, and coming into the truth, because as y'all see in my intro, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, right? Because we have to break out of these strongholds that these doctrines and these churches got us drunk off of, right? So with that, we're gonna get the understanding of was Satan cast out of heaven, right? Or what's the understanding of that? What does it mean when it says Lucifer fell from heaven, right? So if you didn't know, that's in the book of Isaiah chapter 14, right? Let's get the understanding of what it's talking about, right? Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12, and it reads, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Right? So what this precept is talking about, we have to get the understanding of it. And who is he talking about? Is he talking about Satan, or is he talking about something else or somebody else? Right? Now, if to get the understanding of that precept, you gotta start from verse 4, and to get the understanding of that, he was talking about the Babylonian king, right? The king of Babylon. Babylon was a mighty empire, but it was a very wicked empire, right? So let's get the understanding of that. Right? Let's start at verse 4. Isaiah 14 and verse 4. "That thou shalt take up this proverb meaning wise saying, against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and unhindered." Right, so the Babylonian king and his mighty empire was ruling and oppressing the nations in much wickedness, right? And he was breaking so the Most High, he said, I'm gonna break your staff, meaning I'm gonna break your power. You're gonna have nothing to stand on, right? Let's jump down to verse 9, and it reads, "Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming." Right, so hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. So what is it talking about? Is it talking about hell where Satan is poking you with a stick, right? Keeping you in that fire, and he's laughing with his demons, right? Are they constantly torturing you and throwing you back in the fire to put your body back and take you out to torture you again? Or what is it talking about, right? We get the understanding by the precepts to understand that hell is a lower state. Right, so when he's talking about here, he's talking about, he said, I'm gonna cut you down, right? I'm gonna cut down a wicked king in that mighty nation Babylon, and hell is gonna come to meet you. Meaning your lower state is coming, right? Your end is coming. Your kingdom is coming to an end, and you're gonna sit in the dust. You're gonna sit at a very low position, right? Let me read that again. "Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones." Right, my bad about that. Let's read again. "Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? So when he's saying hell is coming up to meet thee, like then said the nations are gonna say, look at you. Look, you was just so mighty, but aren't look at you, you weak as us now? Like what's going on? Right? So that should really give you the understanding of that it's not talking about like the lake of fire, right? But let's go into the precepts to further understand that, right? Because I can't just say that and you got to take my word for it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to prove it with the precepts, right? Something your pastor is not going to do for you, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 86 and verse 6. Let's start here. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Verse 13. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. Right? So we know David wasn't in a lake of fire. He caught up to the Most High. He pulled him out of that fire and gave him another chance. No. When David was feeling afflicted, right, or David was going through something, he cried unto the Most High. What do you mean he cried unto the Most High? He prayed unto the Most High, and the Most High, he delivered him out of that trial, that affliction, right, that pain, right? He delivered him out of that. Let's go to the book of Jonah. I believe I went to the book of Jonah, chapter 2, verse 2. Right? Right, this is a good precept right here. The book of Jonah, chapter 2 and verse 2. And said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Right, I'm going to read that again slowly. And said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Right? So Jonah wasn't speaking and saying, I'm in the deepest part of the lake of fire, and I'm crying unto the Lord, and he pulls me out of there. No, right? He cried by reason of his affliction. Right? When you say, man, I'm going through hell. Life is hell. Right? Or this is hell. Right? You saying I'm going through a lot of trouble. Right? I'm going through a lot of pain. Right? You're going through a lot. Right? So you need to be pulled out of that trouble. So you cry unto the Lord. Right? Because just like this is hell to certain people, right? To those that's living in the trenches, those who's living off of government assistance and can't seem to get a good job and set their life up right and be stress free, right? This life is hell for a lot of people, man. Right? No matter what part of the world you're in, life is hell for a lot of people, but life is heaven for a lot of people too, man. A lot of people are living deliciously in this world. Right? So people say, just how people say, man, this is hell. A lot of people say, hey, man, this is heaven, man. I'm in heaven right now. Right? Just like the Babylonian king. He was a wicked man, a very wicked king. And he had a very wicked nation. Right? So let's get that in the book of 1 Samuel. Let me get it. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 24 and verse 13. As saith the proverb, right, the wise saying of the ancients, wickedness proceeded from the wicked, right? So with the wicked man or with the wicked nation, with wicked people, the only thing that's going to come out of them or come forth out of that is more wickedness, right? Wickedness proceeded from the wicked, but mine hand shall not be upon me, right? So wickedness is going to proceed to come out of wicked people, right? So they called upon the Most High to deliver them out of that being at a lower state, man. Whether they hurt emotionally, right? Whether they going through something financially, physically, right? They praying to the Most High, and the Most High deliver that up. Just like the Most High delivered that up for us, man. Right? When you pray, it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen in a week, but the Most High builds you up so you could be able to handle what He give you, right? So you could build yourself up and be a better and stronger you, right? So let's go back to the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and let's read on. Let me see. Let's read at verse 10 again, right? All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? Because the nations are saying, aren't you become weak as we? Right? Look at you. You just big, mighty nation. And the Most High didn't bring you down to the ground. Right? That's why the Most High said in verse And verse 5, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Right? The Most High had broke that down. You have no mighty men. You have no mighty teachers. You have no kingdom. You have nothing to stand on. You have no foundation. The Most High, he do that to you. Let's go back to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2 and verse 6. I mean, 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Right? 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. The Most High, he do that to you, man. Right? 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. And it reads, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. So when it speaks about the Most High bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up, you know, for one, you get an example how Christ, when you know, I should have pulled the account, but when those people were dead, right, the Most High had risen them out of the dead. The Lord can do that, right? But that's not going on in 2023, right? Those were for signs that that Christ was who he was, Christ who he was, man, right? But we're not going to see those kind of signs now, right? What that's talking about, as you read in the book of Ezekiel chapter 37, I believe, the valley of dry bones, right? When you hear in his word, they bring you to life, because this is the life right here. This is the living waters, right? So you got to live and do as the word said, right? To be brought into life, right? Before, when you walking in this world and smoking, getting high, partying, never keeping any commandments, no matter what you're doing, right? You dead already, right? So that's the Most High. The Most High bringeth you down from the grave and bringeth you up, man, right? Verse 7, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He riseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory for the pillars of the earth. Right? So the Most High, he could bring you down to the ground. He could lift you up, but he could bring you to the dunghill, man. And that's really what I wanted, right? He could bring you to the dust, man. He could make you sit in the dunghill, man. Right? He could really bring you to a very low estate, and that's what he's talking about with the Babylonian king, right? So let's read on verse 11 and Isaiah chapter 14. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, right? Thy pomp is thy pride, right? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, right? Meaning you're buried, you're done, you're finished. You don't get another chance. Right? You ruled in wickedness, you oppress nations, and you're done for. Right? Once I smack you down, you're finished. Right? That's why he said, hell is prepared to meet thee. Right? But we almost there. Right? Thy pride is brought down to the grave. So imagine you being this rich man. Right? That let's picture the Babylon and the Babylonian king as a rich man, and he got a suit on. Right? Or picture him as how Jake will get rich, and he'll buy a bunch of gold chains and gold teeth, and he'll flex his watches like Floyd Mayweather. You know, he got the Gucci bag, the private jet. Imagine being like him this month, and the next month you in a raggedy Honda Civic that barely worked, right? It's a very old one. It's a 92 or it's a 96, right? 96 Honda Civic. You got a donut on the back. You can't afford a tire, right? You went from a big mansion to a studio apartment, right? And you went from eating lobster and steak to eating cup of noodle, right? Imagine your pride. Are you gonna walk around with your head up and walk? No, man. You're gonna walk where you're gonna be hiding your face from people. You might delete your social media because you can't flex no more, right? Thy pride is brought down to the grave. You can't flex no more. The Babylon can't flex no more, right? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? See, now it's making sense. Oh, right? Because he's not talking about, he can't just be automatically, okay, I'm going to talk about the Babylonian king. Now I'm talking about Satan. Nah, man. He's talking, because the Babylonian king ruled in much wickedness and oppressed nations. So he's saying, oh, you devil. Right? How could you fall from this lower state? Look at you. Right? Look at you. Right? Because as you read in the book of Romans chapter 9, right? Let me just get it really quick. Book of Romans chapter 9. 9 and verse let me see. 9 and verse, let me see. Let's start at verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. Right? Because when you read in verse 11, you read that, they had an election in the kingdom of heaven, a vote, right? And the vote was, at the end of the day, amen, the elder's going to serve the younger, right? This is going to happen. The elder's going to serve the younger, and I'm going to favor Jacob and not Esau. So he's saying, is that fair? Is God unfair? He said, God forbid, man. Right? So let's read on. For he saith unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Right? Meaning I'm gonna show fair. I'm gonna love who I want to love. Right? I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna spread my mercy upon who I want to spread my mercy on. Right? Let's read. Let's not make this longer than it gotta be. Verse 21. Right? Oh no, verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I risen thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Right? So the same power that the Most High, he brought the Babylonian king to be that high, to be that nation, he smote them down, man. Right? So what? So his name could be glorified in earth just like he did to Pharaoh. And that's the same thing he's going to do to the nation of Edom. Right? It is what it is. Is God unfair for that? No. Right? Because what? Verse 21, hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another to dishonor? It is what it is, man. Like when you play GTA, your GTA character don't turn around after you got bored and you want to kill a bunch of cops all day, right? Shoot, jump from buildings and jump from a plane for him to die. He don't turn around and say, hey, man, what are you doing? Just play the damn mission. He don't say that, right? Because you have the power. You're the god of GTA when you're playing. Right? So that's the same thing the Most High do. And that's the same thing he did with the Babylonian king. Right? So let's read on again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And then since we got precepts on hell being a lower state, we got to get precepts on the difference of heaven. Is it heaven like New Jerusalem in Revelation 21? Or is it talking about something else? If hell means a lower state, can heaven mean a higher state? All right, let's read. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Son of morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Right? Didn't we read that the Babylonian king was oppressing the nations and much wickedness? Right? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will cast my throne above the stars of God, and I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, and I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. Right? So he said, I'm God. Right? You get too much pride. That's why the Most High said thy pomp. What he said, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, right? Thy pride. You thought you was God. Right? You thought you was untouchable. You thought your head got too big for your shoulders, right? That's how the saying goes. Your head got too big for your shoulders. Right? Too much pride. You thought you was untouchable and nobody could bring you down because you was the way you was treating these nations. Who's like unto me? That's what he was saying. Who's like unto me, man? Who's going to bring me down from this estate? Who's going to take me off my throne? God did it, right? You said I'm going to be like God, right? I'm going to set my nest in the stars, right? I'm going to make people worship me, right? Your head got too big for your shoulders, man. You thought yourself to be God, right? And God had to bring you down and to show that he's the one and only. Right? So let's get some precepts on heaven. Right? There be many heavens. Right? Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 18. There be many heavens. Right? Heaven just means the sky. Right? Heaven is the sky. Right? People say, I'm in heaven. They're not in the kingdom of heaven. They live in lavish. They live in a good life. They're feeling good. Right? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 18. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, right, plural, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath not established it. God himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord and there is none else, right? So there is none else above the Most High. Right? Deuteronomy 33 and 39. The Most High killeth and maketh alive. Right? The Most High kill and none can escape out of his hand. Right? So let's get another preset. Let's go to the book of, let me see, 2 Samuel. I want 2 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 9. Because that's also a good example, because heaven don't mean a high estate all the time. There's many words to heavens, right? I mean, there's many meanings to heavens, right? We're not talking about the heaven as in Revelation 21 with the New Jerusalem, right? We're not talking about the kingdom of heaven, right? There be many heavens, though. This is the book of 2 Samuel. I'm in 1 Samuel. The book of 2 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 9, right? And it reads, "And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule was under him, went away," right? So he was riding on his mule, right, his donkey, right, and his hair got caught on the thick branches of the tree, and he was hanging in the sky, right, hanging in the sky, from the tree branch, right, and dangling, and obviously the earth was under him, right? So in heaven here, it's talking about it's just him dangling in the sky, right? Not in space, not in the clouds, not in the kingdom of heaven, right? Let's read on, because we some people might want a little more than that, right? Let's read. Let me see. Right, the book of Samuel. We will read verse 9 in chapter 18. So we're gonna jump down to verse 14, because if he was in the kingdom of heaven, and heaven meant the kingdom of heaven, then Absalom would have never died, right? Verse 14. Then said Joab, "I may not tarry thus with thee." And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. Right? So he was dangling from the tree, and this man pierced him through the heart, right, with the darts he had, right, and killed him. Right? So that it can mean heaven. The Most High, he called the Babylonian king Lucifer, right, son of morning, because you're in power, right? You were in power, right? Oh, Lucifer, how are you falling from heaven? How are you falling from your high estate, right? And now you brung down to the ground, and heaven is there to meet you. And the nations are going to say, look at you, you became weak like us, right? You have no foundation to stand on, right? You said in your heart you was going to be like God. You were going to set your throne above the stars, and you were going to be God. Right now, look at you. You got no pride. Your pride is down. Your pride is brought down to the grave, and the worm is going to lay under you and covers you, man. Right, meaning you don't get a second chance. Your kingdom, your time of ruin and oppression, oppressing the nations is finished. It's over with, right? So, Most High willing, y'all got out of that mindset of Satan fell from heaven. Oh, let's get the book of Job, right? Let's get the book of Job, right? Because that's a very important one. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Right, let's get a couple more precepts, because that may not be enough for some people. All right, this is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like unto him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Right, so this conversation, it don't sound like they're at war, right? That's because they're not at war, man. Right? They're not at war. Why would he present himself with the sons of God? Right, the angels. He present himself, and he there alone. He there alone with all the angels in the kingdom of heaven, and he present himself to the Most High. He would have been finished right there. Oh, war over. We got him. Right? Osama bin Laden wasn't having conversations with Barack Obama like, yeah, I'm just in a cave chilling, right? I went to the supermarket earlier, right? Nah, man, they wasn't having conversations on, oh man, did you decide to invade so and so? Nah, I might do it, right? They weren't having conversations like that, right? It would have been smashed on sight, right? They weren't having conversations, right? This is a job because he works for the Most High, right? The Most High, he makes all things. Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4, right? Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. And it reads, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. The Most High, he makes all things. He makes good angels, he makes the bad angels, right? There's nothing the Most High he can't control. He's God, right? Right? This is the book of Job chapter 12 and verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his, right? So even Satan is belongs to the Most High, right? Everything works and everything runs and does what the Most High says. Nobody got power on their own. Are you crazy? Right? God sees all things, and God don't share his glory with nothing else. If God says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If God says you're going to die today, you're going to die today. Right? Satan can't just do whatever he wants. Right? That's why he said, hast thou considered my servant Job? And we're going to keep on reading that because that's we're going to get some lessons from that. Right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. And the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Right? So just like in Proverbs 16 and 4, the Most High made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. Right? So Most High, he got angels on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side to do his will. Right? The Most High, he send you a wicked angel to have you cutting yourself. Right? To give you that spirit of anger to go kill somebody. And you, hey, the Most High, he do things because he want to do it, man. Right? And that's just the way it is. Let's keep on reading. The book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? And there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doeth Job fear God for naught? Meaning, does he fear God for nothing? Right? Has not thou made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Right? And then that's what he have done. Right? The Most High, Satan did what God told him to do, and then came to present himself again and say, he didn't sin against you. What else do you want me to do? Okay, now do this to him, right? See if he stay loyal after that, right? So they working together. Why? Because the Most High tells Satan what to do, right? Because they work together, man, right? God made everything. God made evil, right? God made good. Everything's up to God, man. God does everything in general, right? Everything in general. This is the book of 1 Kings. Let me see what I want. I think I want 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 18. And it reads, this is the book of 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 19. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand side. On his right hand and on his left. So you have the right hand angels, the righteous, and you have the wicked on the left hand, right? And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go down and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. Right? So this is the same thing, right? They up there in heaven talking about, okay, how are we going to do this? Right? I need Ahab to fall here at Ramoth Gilead. So the angels, I'm going to do this. Nah. I'll do this. Nah. Right? So they up there debating how they're going to do things. Right? Verse 22, just like in the book of Romans. Right? How they made an election and decide, okay, well, Esau is going to be the vessel fitted for destruction. right? And I'm gonna raise him up so I can destroy him. So I just how I did Pharaoh. So my nation can so my fame could spread amongst the nation, and my people could worship me, right, and glorify my name, right? That's the same. It's the same thing, man. Right? Verse 21. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. And therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets, and the Lord has spoken evil concerning thee. Right? So you hear the Lord had did it. The Lord did it. The Lord did it. Right? Because you just say, and Satan did this, and Satan did that. Nah, man, at the end of the day, the Lord did it. Nothing goes without the Most High say so. Right? So that's and pretty much that's it with the video, man. Right? So ain't no way Satan rebelled against God. That's not in the Bible, right? That doctrine is another doctrine ripped up and smashed, right? Don't be getting drunk with these doctrines of this world, man. Right? Because then you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Right? There's no reason to think Satan rebelled. The Bible don't talk about Satan rebelling against him, and there's fallen angels, and that goes in, they made it with people and made giants, and that's false doctrine, man. Right? So with that, I'm gonna give a thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share.